$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Through my Rahim here, that's in covenant, break of 7 seals. Well, brothers and sisters, they don't answer this. If they keep on lying, so it just manifests who they are. Anyway, we're down to countdown. The whole world knows it. Everything's about to blow up. It's just a matter of when. We know it's close. And as far as I'm concerned, well, brothers and sisters, I knew the day was coming, but I didn't know. Well, I had that vision when I was a child about being totally wiped out. That's why I am right now. Keep going. Keep going. I'm not discouraged. Don't get it wrong. We're not discouraged, not dismayed. It's going to be 77 years old in a couple of days. That's what it's all about. You try it out and see how you like it. Maybe when we get home hereafter, we get more energized. It should be a different story, but right now, it ain't happening. Put it this way, I keep it short. I make this short, brothers and sisters, because I'm not. This may be my last presentation. I'm getting to that point. But I say as you get older, because of energy deprivation, your body doesn't completely restore itself. Right? And so, one way you get around that is you do more fasting, like 1 meal every 3 days. I don't know if you go 1 meal a week. I mean, I've done 30-day fast. I can't do a 30-day fast every year, every month. And, slots, manage your energy real, right? Keep it active. And those things help. We have to do more of it. Because as your cells, if your body's not healing 100% right, like not being fully charged, it may take more energy to keep it going. Every day takes more and more energy to mind. Say, for instance, you take $1,000 a day to manage your energy, then it takes $12. As you know, it takes more and more and more. So you got to use more and more of your energy focus. And a lot of people, that's what happens. They can't do that. They keep on doing what they was doing, their body just realize they have to take more energy, what they're doing, and take more the energy to invest themselves, keep themselves strong and viable. You understand what I'm saying? That's me, right? Okay, that's more energy. Take more energy every day to maintain myself as you get older, because it will take. Right? So you only get so much energy a day, so you got to use more and more. After a while, it gets to the point where you spend what 24 hours at the gym, eat 1 meal a week, right, and so forth. And makes a lot 24 hours. You can't. It's impossible to do all that because right now I'm spending 4 hours. 4 hours at the gym, no, 5 hours gym a day, twice a day. Fasting, lots. When I go to the gym, I'm doing it. It's still, it just keep me at this level. I'm not just letting you know something about your own self. Now, once we get out in deprivation, that won't be a problem. Right now, we're in a situation where we budget our energy. And it's hard to do it. And I understand the nature of it. When I was a child, that vision, I've been tired. I now understand the science of it. So I find myself just to maintain myself, keep active, keep use more, think more, study more. People get Alzheimer's because they what? They're using their brain. They ain't walking. They sit around. Oh, I'm too old, man. Watch TV and everything. They say no. Boom. Legs up like roast. They're dead. I've always seen it. I've seen other people I know, the people I care about, and so near my age, I kept telling them, no, don't lay around. No, man, my sister's in that situation. I told her, she's younger than me. I told her 4 years ago, oh, man, I said, no, now she's in a wheelchair in nursing home. It's hard. It's not easy. You get this boy, say, oh, I'll go tomorrow, I'll go next week. Can't listen to it. Just a little update. Let me move on, brothers and sisters. Plus, there's a couple other things involved too. We'll talk about that a little more in a minute. But this $5,000, they'll come forward and they know they're lying over there. Some are demons, outright demons, right? Somebody tell me. Prove to me that Farrakhan said devils ain't devils anymore. Have you been paying attention where you been? He's kissing on them. He said they are brothers. I mean, what he got to come out and tell you? He got to come in and say, what's that movie? What's his name? Steve Martin, I think it was. He was going to the city. His father told him, he said, look, son, he says, he had a can of polish and a can of shit. He says, son, this is shit and this is shinola. That's what you got to do. You got to come out and say, look, see this white man right here? He ain't no devil. You're kissing him, I mean sleeping with him, but he ain't the devil. You must be the devil then. Anyway, move on. I don't know where, see? This is amazing. That's what I'm talking about, these Levites. See, the majority of the Bible is about the Levites. That's the problem. See, it's mostly written for the Levites. See, he would come to the Levites. He would come to Elijah's temple. That means he came to the Levites. He had to come to the elect. He had to come to the Levites. And Levites got a serious problem. And this book was written in the level that they could understand. And then he was giving you a better one than that because he said, okay, you don't have to understand this one, just understand these two books here. These other three books. The Woes, the Seven Thunders, and the Seven Churches. No. It was written for them on their mindset. The Angel is like a kindergarten book. I keep telling you that. It's like it's like a book on the kindergarten level for when you're going to be when you get home, if you get home. So if you can't understand this, you forget it. What you think you want to run the universe over 2 plus 2, and they 22. Some of you might think that. You'll be flying, you're going operating, flying objects like mass from heaven, and you can't figure out something as simple as the angel, even after you've been told, explained to you, been talked to you, give you ideas, examples, and everything else. I had none of that. I didn't even know that was the angel. I didn't even know it was the angel. There was a book of Revelations, and that's all I knew. It was just another book in the Bible, as far as I was concerned. Nobody helped me. Nobody even tell me to go look in it. Nobody guide me, explain to me. Some of those things I figured out. It took me literally years to figure it out. I can tell you a couple of them. It took me years. Just couldn't get it. And I studied, man. I was going crazy trying to figure it out because I had to figure out a couple of things. What could make sense of that? But I had to invest energy in it. If you want to take and lift 200 pounds, you're not going to walk and just lift 200 pounds. You have to invest energy in that muscle. You go to the gym, invest energy in that muscle. Then you invest enough where you can lift 200 pounds. If you don't invest in it, you ain't going to be lifting a goddamn thing. You can't tell them that. You ain't investing in it, and so that's why you're not getting anything out of it. And that's what Jonah made so mad because he got tired. He got to push him, man, forget it. Forget it. It's a waste of time. It also about just cut him down. God gave him up. Moses was going to burn him up. What script? The scripture make that very clear. And then they only tell you they're going to be delivered. It says, well, a number no man could count. That means it's leaving it open. Maybe no one could count because there was no one that survived it. That's not what's tiring me. It's just like Jonah says, why you got me on a mission? This is like, what's that called? Really, Mission Impossible? Mission Impossible. But you can't move them. So what, is a gym lessons or I spent 35 years doing that. I'd be so tough I could training for these battles I got to do. I'm saying, man, look at all the things that, and that's why the scripture said. In fact, he said it was in the 80s, and you expect him to do all this stuff in the 80s? I'm saying, what was he going to be? You're going to have a, what's going to happen to him? He's going to be, I don't know, I mean, 80s? Late 70s, 80s. How does that happen? He's got to take down the beast. In fact, he's got all these conquests he has to do. He's taking on the whole world. The whole world's on his shoulders. The whole world. I'm saying, is this real? Is this one of those figurative things like Noah took 800 years to build an ark? I mean, 800 years? Is that figurative? 800 years, no wonder nobody wants to deal with that, man. You mean I got to deal with this 800 years, man? I'll be dead before it gets finished. They can't say, I said the book was written for them. But they understand, they can grasp it. So the fact they don't grasp it means they're not investing in it. It's as simple as that. I don't care what they say, what they don't say, whatever. You're not getting it because you're not investing in it. Because they wouldn't give you a book and go through all this trouble if they didn't intend for you to survive it. But that'd be mission me to spend 35 years or more. Actually more than that, because you go back to what? Over 50 years. I came to Elijah when I was 70, and I was in my 20s in 1970. Then you got the God came, and you got the message for 40-some years. We're going to bounce. And this clown here, I mean, how does this happen? How did you let fire? I mean, every sign there is that he's no good, stinking devil. Every sign is, and Could you be taken down by that? You got this guy, Wesley, talking about he a doctor, PhD. He don't know, you missed biology class? You must have failed that one. You know, I'm not going to get distracted. I can't keep this short. But they talking about, they said, you got Suleiman, he was David's son. See? So David's the king, and that's why you have David's the one to take down Goliath. David's matched by Muhammad. And Suleiman, right? His son, but he rose, right? But he was wise than his father. That's what it says, he was the wisest man ever lived. But he was the son of David. And David, it says, Messiah would from out of the root of David. I think it's in Injil, the same thing too, right? But Farrakhan, right there you got him. Because his father was the devil. So he could not possibly be Messiah. No. You got him in every kind of way you think of. He goes against everything Elijah Muhammad said. Muhammad said, we're leaving here. No, we ain't going nowhere. Never mention the message of the covenant at any time. Never mention Joshua. The devil. He even says, Elijah Muhammad said, this word's hypocrite. I mean, no matter how you cut it. Totally against Elijah Muhammad's teaching. Muhammad praise, the originator. What the hell you got to do? The guy said, well, Steve Martin said, Father, this shit and this and all. Right? I guess he got to take you to the store and say, see, this honey and this shit you eating out of my ass. Right? Shit. I guess what he got to do to you? This stuff coming out of my behind is shit. And this stuff in the jar is honey. Is that what you got to do? Because there's no way in the world you can be deceived by that man. There's no way. If you're for real, everything he does, everything he says is totally against Elijah Muhammad's teachers. So in other words, you never heard Elijah Muhammad. That's one of the things they do. I do say this. One thing they do, they destroy Elijah Muhammad's teaching by telling you that this is what he says Elijah Muhammad's teaching. So if you never saw Elijah, which most people with him never was with Elijah, and you never read his book, which they probably haven't, then you think that's what Elijah Muhammad taught. And you got these other clowns with this Silas and Melchizedek and Joel and all that confusion out there, right? It's all about design. No, I wouldn't deceive him not even 1 second. Once the message was departed, I knew I didn't fall. People used to tell me, no, I got to know because I know a few brothers, man, you should be really down with Farrakhan. I said, why should I be down with Farrakhan? Yeah, because, you study and stuff. That's why I'm not down with him. Because they knew I was a thinker. Because I got in trouble with them a lot of times because they would say stuff. And they would say, Muhammad, he going to take us. I said, that's not what scripture say. He said he was going to take us. They said scrap when Elijah was around. I never said that. He's the one. No, it didn't say that. And then they say, oh, Elijah Muhammad got a 25-degree black belt. He can jump up 7 feet tall, high, and kick a fly off your nose. I said, wait a minute, where you get that from? You mean he can't do that? Stuff like that, So I was an outcast because I wasn't buying all that BS they were saying. Because I knew it wasn't what the scripture was saying. And I wasn't saying that stuff. And then we found out there were a lot of these listeners coming out of California. These brothers in California had made up a whole bunch of stuff, and that was going around. They took them as the actual lessons. I can't remember all that was in there. That segment is out there still all the time. Somebody asked something to the lessons. He quoted a couple once of this. He read it. He looked at it. No, brother, they ain't the lessons. So I'm not going to find it, but I know it's out there. I saw it one day. Maybe I did say it, but I don't know where. I got so much stuff there. So anyway, but remember, let me see. That shit come out of Farrakhan's ass. That ain't honey. It may look like honey. It ain't honey. Because nothing he's saying. But then again, remember, most people with him are wild people anyway. honest people. But they didn't believe the message anyway. They don't believe none of that lesson in them anyway. Levites, that's why it says the message will come with clear arguments, not even argument, the clear truth. Like Elijah Muhammad said, the truth made so clear. The fool in there. That's why I said like that, because all the confusion out there. But still, they rather be the confusion. They rather go to confusion. They don't want to invest in this. And I try to explain to them the nature of the situation. They want to blame me, blame all they want to. I'm just telling you how it is. I don't like it myself. Like, I'm not sure about hard cause. You know what? He didn't like it. Well, let's prepare for it. That's the same thing to do. That's what we got to do is prepare for it. Because you say, come on, I don't like this. I don't want to do it. I don't like doing what I'm doing right now. I don't like this mission. I ain't asked for it. I said, they tricked me into it. I'm going to say, clank, walk away and cry about it? When my people need me? That's what drives it, because just me, whole different issue. Let's move on. Let's get this out of the way, brothers and sisters.
I gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm gonna do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Flager as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is, you will never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor,
yes, sir,
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him, put his image up.
Yes, sir.
That's the man whose father was a black man and his mother a Caucasian. And how many of us have a parent that's a Caucasian or grandparent? It's not about color. It's about our submission to the will of God. And in that we find common ground and unity. So I'm only one shade lighter than you, so. And Mustafa maybe 4 more shades lighter. We a family.
Yes, sir.
Let's stay a family and be a family and love each other as God would have us to love each other. We love you, Father. Happy Savior's Day. Thank you. I had to do that. We love you.
One more time, brother.
Hey, bro, so I think this statement speaks for itself. Let's move on.
Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement. And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Easy proof. Just check this, brothers and sisters. Easy proof.
Malachi 3:1. Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me, and the Lord, whom ye seek, shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith the Lord of hosts.
Brothers and sisters, right there, they say Elijah's the last one. That's what this says. They quote this. They quote the messenger, Elijah. It says when the messenger coming after him, there comes this temple. Messenger of the covenant. So right there, they call God a liar because God says he's coming. They said, no, Elijah's the last one. So they call God a liar right here. They said, Lord of hosts said he's coming. But they said, ain't nobody coming after Elijah. Okay, let's move on to the next one.
Genesis 15:12. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and, lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. 13 And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. 14 And also that nation, whom they shall serve, will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance.
Okay, they read this part. Notice, after 40 years, there'll be a judgment. Then they'll come out. That's where we are right now. 20 years have passed. Then instead of judgment, the plagues will start. First of the plagues was that one called COVID, right? But there'll be a judgment. Because afterwards, or some nation they will judge. So I would judge, and afterwards they will come out after the judgment. Keep that in mind. Because people don't pay attention to these little things. So, now they read this part. Now, what about the rest part? Let's go to this part here. And they read this part, right? Okay.
Genesis 15:18. In the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates.
Okay, they never mention this either. In the first part, they don't mention the message of the covenant. Here's the covenant. They don't mention the message of the covenant, they don't mention the covenant. Because Farrakhan said, ain't nobody after Elijah, so they calling God a liar there. Right? And then plus, he said, we ain't going nowhere, so they calling God a liar here too. But God says, that's the covenant. His word says, this is Arabia, look it up in the map. 2 places, right? Some more. Even part of the book and disbelieving the other.
Now after the death of Moses the servant of the Lord it came to pass, that the Lord spake unto Joshua the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, To Moses my servant is dead, now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou, and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel. 3. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moses. 4. From the wilderness and this Lebanon even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea toward the going down of the sun, shall be your coast.
So here we go. Tells you the identity of the messenger of the covenant, which his name is Joshua. Joshua, he's the Messiah. But Farrakhan said, anybody after Elijah? Well, maybe Aaron, but that's it. Never mentioned Joshua. Even part of the book and this being the other. It's right there. It's clear. Clear as day. Move on, brothers and sisters.
Five. There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life, as I was with Moses, so I will be with thee, I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee.
No mention of Aaron anywhere. Farrakhan. Mention of it all. It goes straight from Moses or Elijah to Joshua. He says, I will always be with you, I will not fail thee. So who is that when Farrakhan blew his ass up? It sounds like curse to me. Don't sound like God was with him and he would not fail him and wouldn't forsake him. No. It sounds like it was cursed to me. I think any man would say that's a curse. Except it's Farrakhan. See, if it's Farrakhan, that couldn't be possibly a curse. It could be possibly a curse. It's like that stuff in Isaiah. It's like, gotta be honey. It's gotta be. It's gotta be. That's gotta be honey. Right? He's gotta be the one to take us home, man. He can't be the devil. Right? Look how handsome he is. See how cute he is. He got white folks' hair. Right? You know, oh, well, you don't got no woolly hair. Yeah, man. That's a bad interpretation, right? See, you know, he's not stealing because, man, he's the God of Abraham. See all this stupid shit. But let him go on with it. We didn't stop him. That's what they think. Right? I don't waste time listening to him. We know where they're heading. You see your enemy, right? Going down a one-way street to a brick wall. 50 miles an hour, you're going to set a sign, tell them that that's the wrong way? Hell no. Step on the gas, man. Step on the gas. Step on the gas, man. Hit the flow. Slow it. Get your dumb ass out the way fast.
Six. Be strong and of a good courage, for unto this people shalt thou divide for an inheritance the land, which I swear unto their fathers to give them. 7. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law, which Moses my servant commanded thee, turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein, for then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. 9. Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage, be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest.
Mention the covenant, Joshua don't have to worry about a damn thing. You're not protect yourself, but God said, hey, I'm with you too. So how can he go wrong? You got to worry about his ass being blown up with some radiation pills. Brothers and sisters. They asked me, when Farrakhan said, devils ain't devils no more. You know, I ain't got time to show him pictures, but whatever. fact, they looted the nation. They robbed the nation, took everything, tore it down. Farrakhan talks and stuff. He was right there. M.F. Wallace tore the nation down, started something new. He was Wallace's top minister when he was supposed to be the one in charge to begin with. No straw together. More brothers and sisters. Okay, let me get to the main things, and I'm then gonna keep this short. I have to. Right? Yeah. This may be our last presentation, brothers and sisters. We run out of time. We not run out of time. They run out of time. I've got a lot of preparation to make, so we'll see. Now, see, we're going to talk about the Levites. See here. Now, I didn't show the thing, but it says in Exodus, God turned against, Noah turned against them. Moses turned against Noah. We see God going back and forth to some extent. We see Jonah, right? So it's like the first resurrection they had life and no spirit. That was Elijah Muhammad. They had spirit. What spirit? And that spirit they get, that's their mind. That spirit they get from the covenant. So they preached the 4 winds, and then they had spirit. Anyway, that's another story. But see here, now he told Elijah, it says, Moses, forget them. I'll make of your nation. I'll replace them with your people. I'm paraphrasing. I don't know exactly how I said it, but you can look it up. That's what you see right there. I'll make of you a great nation. That's what he said. I'll make of you a great nation. We see church and thunder right there. Those are Levites too. Right? They didn't go to tribulation though. Excuse me, they didn't go to Holocaust though. He said he'd make Elijah a great nation. That's what happened. Because that position, I was it. Elijah came to Noah and they rejected him. They rejected Elijah. So instead of being in this position right here, they down here, out of the kingdom. See, this represents the new heavens. This represents the earth. And that's what it meant. See, they were still safe for nothing. He explains everything. So they would have been in this position, and now they're thrown out to this position. Levites keep doing this stuff. Remember, Elijah, he came to them. That's the problem, came to them. All these people came to them. See this? Elijah came to him. The God came to him. Elijah came to him. Mr. Covenant came to him. Is that a coincidence to have it like that? The key tells you everything. All these people came to him. Elijah, the God, Mr. Covenant. They still end up down here. So they cleanse the earth or what? Maybe that's it. That's one of the problems here. That's why I said you got to take it all together. Because you can't, you're trying to hold on to the first floor and second floor at the same time. It's not going to work for you. Okay? You got to get off the first floor altogether. They're trying to hold on both. So they invest energy in both. Instead of investing their energy in one. That's up to them. My job is not to gather them together. My job is to give them information. They make it. Remember, the reason why the Lamb gave up on them, God gave up on them, let's make a nation out of you. Elijah gave up on it because he tried to burn up those tablets. Fire. Made him eat the golden calf and stand this here. Of course, made him drink of it. And the Lamb gave one too, because when time to go, he wouldn't take it with him. He wouldn't put their name in the book because they wasn't qualified. It says those in the Lamb's book, they was taken out. Him and the elect. They said they were still asleep. See, so they were still asleep. Even at that time, they were still asleep. So then they go to tribulation. So then they'll wake up. If I need to get the verse, then they'll wake up. So at that time, they wake up. Don't sleep in the dust. They're still asleep. Then they wake up. Why? Because the fire hit their ass. Because you couldn't tell them. You try to tell them, say, man, the fire's coming. Oh, man. Because they don't feel the fire. Oh, man. I don't feel no fire. Well, that's the idea. Keep them feeling the fire. Doesn't matter, house on fire. I don't feel no fire. That's the point. I'm telling you so you don't feel the fire. Because if you sit there, you're going to feel it in a minute. And make a sue your ass. Either way, you're going to get 30-degree burns no matter how it turns out. You can't tell them anything. But they can say, oh, no, if you don't get, you ain't getting it because you ain't invested in it. Because the book was designed for you to get it, or they wouldn't, or it would be unjust to even give it to you. Then you had a follow-up, right? So, okay, well, if you can't handle that, handle these two. The churches, the others, well, just handle that then. They invest it, you see results. Results. You know? Oh. Okay, let me go to this, brothers and sisters. These are the battles. See, my first battle is coordination. Because you have to have a vision first before you come organize. And right now, there's a fake vision there that be taken out. Right? Now, during the time, right? The mission of the Master Covenant is take out your demons. Work of Master Muhammad, together, he has to first destroy that bad vision. The human had to be here on the ground, right? To give you the proper vision. That's if you accept it. That's going to force on you. So that's what's happening here. As the covenant shows up, okay, is that fake vision. Fake vision about synagogue of Satan, false Israel. They're saying they're us. They're true to Abraham. And Master Muhammad has to take them out, assume it has to be here to give you information you need, give you the proper vision. He has to take out false vision. He has to be able to give your mind the proper vision. Then you got another enemy here. It's his main mission to take out these demons. But they are a hidden enemy. Wolves in sheep clothing. And then after him, right, take demons out, then we got to deal with God. Israel's sitting there to keep us understand who we are. Once we get that, then we have to separate the cancer cells from us, demons. They infiltrate us. So got mine back. Now we got to get them out. And once we got them out, now we got to get the hell out of here and get home. Because they're holding us here. Why are they holding us here? Explain all that. So now we got false Israel's got to go. That's what's on the agenda right now. All the focus on false Israel right now. All the focus on false Israel right now. My voice is okay because my voice is kind of messed up. So okay, well. You can't all that have ways to churches, and there's just a battle. For vision. But our people don't have a vision right now. You know, as well as Jesus and God don't have a vision. Our people don't have a vision. The people without a vision perish. So we think our fate is with these devils, whatever they do. That's what we're talking. We did this. I mean, you think about it, you say, how can we do that? But I mean, you take a responsibility for everything these devils have been doing. They've been raping, murdering, stealing this land. You keep saying we? I mean, you identify with that? You got a cross around your neck, and that cross was the same thing they had around your neck when they was raping your great grandmother and your great grandfather and everything else. That's what that cross represents. They came out of Europe. None about their works. What's the works of Christians? They can talk all that crap they want to. What's their works? Make it in mind, because remember, you're beating yourself. So to get your vision back, right? Then you had to get rid of the demons. That's what it says right in Mark, right? First, you have to get first his mind back, and then took out the demons, legion. Well, your mind back, you take out the demons because what good? You don't know what to do. Sequence of events there, right? And then after that, right now, we want our freedom. Get the hell away from God. Find our way out of here. 3 steps so far. Mind back. Get rid of hidden enemy that's infiltrated us. Right? And then get the hell out of here. And once we get out of here, we're going home. What? We got to take it home. We got to take it back. Because, yeah, brother Ishmael, let's take it out home. And we got to take him out. That's what the angel said, and that's the proper pattern, proper, I don't want to say pattern, timeline. Because we're going home. Where are we going home to? Take our land back. That's the battle. So, because we got a battle to get out of here. We got a battle of demons who's living off of us. Remember, demons don't want to leave here, right? Because they're living off of us. So is God too. Then we got to go to war with called the GOAT, China, India. They fought the winner. They represent the winner economic system. They want to maintain a system because that system, that system of their reality. Their reality is based on that system. That's not our system. Now we got our land back, right? Now we're going to start our system. They're going to resist it. Then finally, right, Obama, but he's going to end up fighting with them. He wants the same thing we want. Only thing is he says he an older brother, we should submit to him. Yep. So he takes them out. Then he goes war with us. He finally defeated, and that's all peace. That belongs to us. Okay, let's go look at this way. As it says, to your seed, or Abraham, your seed, all nations will be blessed. That's what it says. So, how do you make sense of that? So you got to study these things. It said because they don't say these things for no reason. So how's that? Because false Israel claims they're, oh yeah, but the only one they bless themselves. They the ones billionaires and everything else. They don't seem to help anyone else. Here's God and Magog. They claim they're spiritual Abraham. They said, well, if this covenant with the Jews was vacated, instead we believe in Jesus now. We're the spiritual seed of Abraham. They claim. Magog. So they claim this is the promised land. They don't feel guilty about it because all this is what they got. Because they spiritually Abraham. So by stealing identity, they're stealing identity also. Well, not directly, because they said it's spiritual seed. You know what I'm saying? They still benefiting from it because they're saying even if it turns out that we are true to Abraham, they said no, that's abrogated. They didn't believe in Jesus, so now it's going over to us. So it's still right. They still say they're taking claim for our land, for our vision, our reality. They're taking credit for it. They're saying they're spiritual to Abraham, so they should get all the things that was promised to Abraham. And here, right, they got rich for the same reason. Because they're saying, you bless Israel, should be blessed, who curse. They say, see, you got to bless us. You even see senators and congressmen saying that. We got to bless Israel. We got to bless Israel. Now even Israel, you got to bless them because Jesus, they said, those who bless Israel be blessed or be cursed. So, and it's more to it than that, brothers and sisters. The point I'm making here is that all nations be blessed. So they're blessed because everybody's helping them because they say, hey, we just see Abraham. So they say, see, that's what those quotes. This guy, Tom Cruise or Ted Cruz, whatever his name is. He was saying, yeah, he's a senator, I believe, out of Texas. Yeah, we got to help them because the Bible says we got to help them. Because God, you know. And so that's what they say. That's what they do. No matter what falls Israel asks for, they give it to them. They protect them every kind of way because they claim it. That claim. So they're benefiting off us too. You know, both are benefiting us. All of them claiming Abraham. And so they get power because of that claim. Then you got some petition. He claimed he's Messiah. He's not even a seed of Abraham. So they get rich. They get that's because using. When he says he's Messiah petition, he says he's a Messiah. They take a claim that's not his. So therefore he's getting all this accolades and everything else. The Honorable Farrakhan, because he's saying something he's not. He don't understand consequence, because when you say something you're not, that's the same as stealing. He's done himself a devil. It says Paul is Jewish. Let me just here. Okay. There's something here. Hold on. Okay, yeah, he's saying, right? Okay, hold on. He getting because he's getting all these blessings because he says he's seed Abraham, right? He claims he's the Messiah. He's getting accolades and everything else. Remember, all this stuff refers to us, but they claim it. Understand? Here, they got land. That's all nations be blessed. They steal from us. So he got land. God got us. Right? God got us. They got a name. Right? They got a religion. Right? They took over that. And he's the Messiah. So he's got us in captivity. He got control of our energy. He got control of our energy, right? He's getting our name. He's going to benefit from, he's getting rich off our name, powerful. Him. He's got a religion. He got Nation of Islam. He got a land. That's how they get rich and powerful. That's some of ours. And now the America, remember, we supposed to hard labor in Egypt without the benefit of it. So to make bricks without pay or whatever. But the benefit of that, the economics of that, is going to them. So they're getting rich off the economics. Industrial jobs and the computer jobs. Computer jobs, program, all that kind of stuff going to India and the industrial, and that become powerhouses because it's backfiring on them. Backfiring America. Everything America does is backfiring or will backfire. Everything false Israel is doing is backfire or will backfire. Because their time is over. Winter's over. So what they're fighting consequence. That's what America fight. That's why they're going crazy. We bomb people, we kill people, they shoot people, we're going to invade countries because they lose control. And they're desperate to maintain control. That's what you see in desperation here. So the economics. That's the fruit of what we're about the energy here. They give it to them. So they get rich and powerful because intellectual jobs they kept us from getting it. Industrial jobs sent to them, so they kept us from getting it. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. And then here, he says, Abraham's inheritance belongs to him. He's the oldest son. See, he should be the one sitting on the throne. That's why it means that all nations are blessed. Right? Throughout their seats, that's how they all blessed. You understand it. Then comes Suma, he's a mission of covenant, and Joshua's the Messiah. Now, we're talking about David and Suma. Solomon is David's son. David messed from him. He sold slave to Goliath. His son, Solomon, is the wisest man ever lived. But he was under David's authority. Yeah. Here we go again. Remember, these are the chaff, demons. They was told, Master, you can't, these house niggas. So once we're out the field, they said, Master, what we going to do? You ain't going to live off us because we're living off of them. We was giving you what we was getting from them. Now, you're not going to live off of us. We was living off of them. Okay? And what we got from them, we was giving to you, leftovers. But now, we're not getting anything from them anymore, not like that. So yeah, you can go get it directly. So that's the demons. The preachers and Jess Jackson and Pop and all these clowns, right? All these guys, right? Cheswick and Maxwell, all these people, they elite. They want to sell the money and everything else. They're living off of us. They're living off of us. If you can't live off of us, you live off them. So these vultures come back to finish off the flesh. There's 4 seasons in every Earth period. Earth period lasts about between 24 and 25,000 years. 6,000 years apiece. We're moving to spring. We're into spring. So eventually the winter will be vacant. Spring, when the spring comes in, there's no trace of winter left, is there? There ain't trace of winter left when spring comes in full. That's they don't want. Okay, here. This is where we were before we was here. The boys here, we got separated into 2 groups. The rape group, the seed of the rape group, that was master seed of raping our women incessantly. It was his children, black-faced children, skin folk. in the field with us. He was in the field. They with us in the house because they knew we might kill him. So the journey starts there. It was called niggers. Who was in the fields. They was in the house. Two different people. But we still consider ourselves as being black. So once we broke the chains that says in Mark, these ones stay with master. Because remember, they're master's seed. They didn't want to be set by master. He's trying to get away from master, ran to cities. Right? Then the music came out. No story I'm not going to dwell on today. I talked about it earlier. Maybe again, I don't know. Time's running out. So then, every 50 years, we got to change. Energy wave. So, okay, new music, jazz. Maybe we're controlling the atmosphere. And then you got Eurocentric and Afrocentric. Two different ways of thought. We still consider ourselves black, but we have two different agendas here. Okay? Now you're talking about, he's integrated, he separates, see? And the mindset is growing because we still, because so black folks, we say, hey, there's something different about it. We start calling some Oreo, we start calling these Oreos, black face, black and outside, white and inside, and aqua toms. We start calling, but we still hate each other. We still think ourselves, it's all we in the same race. It's just we have different opinion. So about 50 years later, we'll be where we are right now. And if you got Suleiman, he's talking about breaking out altogether. He's trying to break in. He said, so which one is he following? He said, break in. He wants to stay here. And he's a demon. I realized who they are. I said, no, they're not our brothers. They're demons. It's clear now. They're not us. We're Israel. But now they got to fight this back because they can't let you find that you're Israel because then you might take revenge on them like they said. Here he is.
I believe that America can be beautiful. How can America be made beautiful? Now, family, listen. My brother Imam Wadakuddin and I have had disagreement, but his followers and mine have never given each other as much as a bloody nose. Because in spite of our differences, there's a deep love in us. We don't like the things about our nation that is not good, but I don't want to live anywhere else. But I want America to be made right. I don't want to see America go the way of Rome and Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah. But why won't she go that way? If the men of religion and the women of religion keep silent.
Remember now, at this point, we recognize the difference. Because Mr. Covenant explained to us, says, no, we're two different people. One slave master's children, black-faced children, one original. So we're against them and they're against us. But now separation is clear. The chaff and the wheat are identified. Okay? So watch this.
When the Muslims were alive, I'll say it again. When the Muslims were alive, you We set up schools.
That's right.
When we were alive, we had supermarkets.
That's right.
We owned buildings. We owned farmland. We were busy doing something, hiring our people. Well, I'm telling the Muslims, damn it, if you don't come alive, you will die like you are. And I will say, thank you, Allah, because if they're not doing nothing on top of the earth, let the worms eat their ass.
So how you feel about, both sides, male and female. What side of the coin you think he's on, brothers and sisters? You neglect to say him and Wallace is the ones that tore down the Nation of Islam. You neglect to say that part. When it was live, well, how did they get killed? You and Wallace did it. You neglect to say that part. I was there. It's not hearsay, I was there. And then they badmouthed, ripped the Nation of Islam off, killed it totally, destroyed it, got rid of the name, saw some called by the aliens, and then badmouthed the messenger and Master Muhammad, said there wasn't no God, no prophet, and all this stuff. No messenger. Yeah, I was there. So what side do you think he's on, brothers and sisters? What side do you think he's on? He's on this side over here, separation, going back to home, or this side? They hit America. This side here, now, remember, every 50 years, so now with 50-year mark, something about to happen again. Every 50 years, a big change and, more dramatic. So here we are right in the 2020s. His messenger coming, he's up here. He said, no, we're going back home. Get rid of those demons. His message. Well, I don't want nothing happen to America. That's what Mr. Blackman says. That's what America says. America be destroyed. God wants it, but he says he speaks to God. He's guided by God. But obviously, he's not submission to God because God says just the opposite. God said the devil's 100% wicked, cannot be reformed. In addition to that, he says what? They got to take on a plane. He said, no, I don't want to happen to America. I want to save America. Can't be reformed. They're all devils. We're going to turn home. No, I want to stay here. That's what I'm saying, brothers and sisters. If they're still with him, when time comes, we don't have to argue with them or say anything because you're still with him and all this information out there. If you read anything, look at anything, that means you must be a demon or just total idiot. Either way, we don't want you. Wesley, PhD, don't know biology.
1. Six.
Okay, I'm going to play this, brothers and sisters.
One. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee, to and shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart, and with all thy soul. 3. That then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity, and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. For if any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. 5. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers.
brothers and sisters, he's saying 100%, all the heart, right? With all thy heart, with all thy soul. Soul is just your body, not some special thing. That's some more confusion. But they don't seem to want to do that. Okay? And he said, let's play the next one.
"15. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil. 16. In that I command thee this day to love the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply, and the Lord thy God shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. 17. But if thine heart turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but shalt be drawn away, and worship other gods, and serve them. 18. I denounce unto you this day, that ye shall surely perish, and that ye shall not prolong your days upon the land, whither thou passest over Jordan to go to possess it. 19. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. 20. That thou mayest love the Lord thy God, and that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him, for he is thy life, and the length of thy days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them.
He's talking about, brothers and sisters, about before you date, life and death, life and this day, life and good, and death and evil. They're talking about, you want to, it's your choice. You can go along with Farrakhan and all that BS and this, all the fools with him, or you can go with the Mr. Cummings. That's what he's telling you. It's your choice. It's your choice. Nobody's going to make you take it. Okay? You don't need any, says you don't need any guns and player planes, all that kind of stuff. There's another subject altogether. I don't know if I know I'm not going to get into it today. I'll try to explain to you how pressure works. But you don't understand that. I know you don't understand it because I tell you the way you talk and what you say. You probably don't believe it because you still think two-dimensionally. Think linearly. Look up linear instead of spatially. See, the analytical mind is linear. Spatial mind is spatial. Spatial is pressure. Linear is force. After I say force is the fundamental principle of pressure. Right? Just voluminous force. Force like if you got force, I don't want to go into bounces. If you got like vectors, right? That's like, say you got force acting on the floor. Acting on the floor, okay, that's two-dimensional. If you got in the room, the whole room, then it's three-dimensional. So, right? Three-dimensional is space. Two-dimensional is just flat to the floor. It's two-dimensional. Three-dimensional is space in the whole room. Two-dimensional is the floor. One-dimensional is the corner between the walls. One-dimensional is a point. Zero-dimensional is a point. I'm not going to try to explain like but when you say my pressure is voluminous. Still force is in a voluminous way. And that's how reality is not two-dimensional. But see, they think two-dimensional. That's why who got the most economy, right? Guns and all that stuff. Right? It's like, you got a whole bunch of roaches, a bunch of ants that's fighting, they kill them. You ever seen an ant fight? Oh man, I think those red ants or workers ants, what do they call them? They get into it. If you ever seen it, they get into it. You can walk around and just step on and wipe them all out. They fight, man. They going at it. All you got to just step over there and you blow them away. Step. Does that make sense to you or not? But you understand pressure. I keep telling you, study pressure. That's how the pressure works. Systems based on pressure. Once you understand that, then greater pressure will come to. So that pressure, their arms, that kind of stuff. It's just what's the word I use all the time? It's a quality of their level of pressure. It's a quality. They think two dimensions. It's the quality of it. Okay? I mean, I'm just kind of like dramatic, right? No, I don't even say it that way because that's just confusion. If you don't study, you don't get it. Understand? Their guns, all that stuff is a quality of. It's a quality of their pressure. If you have greater pressure, it doesn't matter what the quality of pressure is. It doesn't matter the quality of pressure is. They got to, I don't know, I shouldn't even say it this way. I'm going to leave it alone. You have to study pressure. I'm not going to talk about it today. I mean, I've talked about it for years and years and years. I know you don't understand it yet. You probably don't believe it. You probably, the scripture says we don't need guns. They tell you to make guns, and otherwise they would give us scripture. They told Noah to build an ark, or they were told to give scripture. Here's a chapter in the book. It may be sealed. But they would tell you just how you make this kind of gun, just how you make this kind of whatever kind of weapon. But the weapons that tell you to make, right? That's atmospheric weapons. That's kind of weapon tell you. Weather. He said weather would be his weapons. It says that in the lessons also. Also, right? The word. That's your weapon. What about the walls of Jericho? Right? It was just atmosphere. Resonance. Still atmosphere. He was controlling the atmosphere in that form. It comes from your voice. Anyway, let me move on, brothers and sisters. I don't see that many people going to make it. Here, like I said, see, they're the vultures. Where the carcass is, like vultures or eagles gather together. Right, they're eating off us. These are the preachers. Remember, these are the demons. Demons to the master's children, they're black masters. What do you call them? Uncle Tom, whatever you want to call them. House niggas. The master's children. Blackface from his rape and carrying on. When we got out the fields, master was living off us. They said, oh, and they was living off, they would get what master got, the master got from us. The master wasn't getting from us that way anymore. So they said, what we gonna do? What we gonna do, Dad? Or you ain't gonna live off us? Yeah, but we're your children. Well, yeah, well, you still niggas. That's the way master look at it. You still niggas. Yeah, we're your dad. We're our children. We're your children, though. Well, you can live off of them. You ain't live on me. And that's what they've been doing. These are the preachers. And Farrakhan, he's a preacher too. He took about our nation. He's just a preacher. They got a preacher that took every category black folk. He's just a preacher that took over the nation of Islam. He's a multi-millionaire. He hasn't do the same damn thing. To me, he revived the nation of Islam. Goddamn lie was there. He's a multi-millionaire. They're all living off the nation of Islam. They're all vultures. They're all demons. Demons are told to live off. That's why we got to separate them out from us. Because that's what cancer parasites do. They eat. They live off of you. Keep you weak. Because your body's trying to fight them off all the time. That's why they keep us weak. Because we spend too much energy trying to figure out how to get along. Because we don't know who's who. If you know 10 black people, 5 of them are demons. And they're your enemies. Okay, I don't know if I want to talk. Let me talk this a little bit. I'm just hitting things. Okay, brothers and sisters, you know this thing about God. These people, I mean, they got your minds all messed up, everything. But let's just make it clear. Make an owner, create a planet Earth. Okay, say for instance, this outside the universe. This red side is the Earth, so to speak, right? Now, when you have a pressure situation closing in, you have the external pressure and the internal pressure. So as you're squeezing it, the internal pressure, because it's you put in a small space, so it becomes more, the pressure builds up. If you take a balloon and start squeezing it, the more you squeeze it, the pressure builds up because you're putting all that pressure in a smaller space. So the Earth is getting, you're pushing it, so the universe is collapsing, so a precious building. So the inside is building too. But if the inside doesn't build, that means the whole thing just collapses into nothing. So it keeps on going until the inside is equal to the outside. And then it can't correct anymore because both are equal. See, in the beginning, the pressure inside is weaker than the pressure on the outside. The pressure inside is weaker than the pressure outside. So as it's contracting, it's putting more and more pressure on the inside until the pressure inside becomes strong enough to be equal to the pressure on the outside. Then it stops. The universe contracting. Okay? So at that point, when the universe is fully contracted, right, we're not in the form we are right now, because to withstand that kind of pressure, we have to be in a totally different form. We're not even flesh then. Remember, all these, look, you got bees and some insect stuff, they're not flesh. They're little, whatever they're made of. Right? But all that stuff, when you see all the life on the planet right now, all that was in the one form in the original, in DNA, all compressed. Because we had to have all those characteristics, all those attributes survive that supreme pressure. That pressure was off the page. And so all those attributes were squeezed into one being. Understand it? And the DNA, right? And remember, the outside is equal to the inside, right? The inside is the pressure both, right? But the inside, temperature is higher. Why? Because you got the same amount of pressure, but in a smaller space. That means the temperature is going to increase. The volume goes down, increase. So it's still balanced, but it's hotter inside than the outside. That means the atoms move around faster than inside. If the atoms move around faster, the inside is equal to the outside, and so the inside reacts to everything that's on the outside because they act equally. It means the inside is react to everything that's happening on the outside because they're both equal at that point. The inside is react to everything on the outside. The outside is react to everything on the inside. But the inside, atoms move around faster, right? So it's conscious. The outside don't reach consciousness because the temperature, remember how fast thought moves, that's why let's say thought moves 24 billion miles per second. Because it's telling you, thought is how fast, but you don't get 24 billion miles per second on the outside because it's more space, so it never reaches that temperature. So this reach has moved around 24 billion miles per second, means it's conscious. So the pressure inside is conscious. The pressure is conscious, remember, senses, right? That means it's aware of everything on the outside. It's the God of the universe. Maker, owner, creator, planner, God of the universe. Because it's aware of everything's happening on the outside. Because the pressure inside, the pressure inside is consciousness. Because it's moving around 24 billion miles per second. The outside is not consciousness because it's not moving around that fast. Right? It's more of it, right? But that's temperature. I don't know if that makes sense to you, whatever, that's what it means. So we all compress. So we had to been intense to withstand that kind of pressure. So that DNA right there, DNA, because all animals and plants have DNA, but they have small parts of it. And then what happens? Okay, I'm Lee Sloan Brothers, so I got it backwards. How did I do that? Okay, I'll talk about it tomorrow. And I must have did that. That's get it. I'm not even gonna speak to it. Oh yeah. Anyway, we gotta separate the demons from it. Bear with me, brothers and sisters. That I don't know what happened there. I'm not going to speak to it because I'll just confuse you. But what I said is true. It's the graphic is something happened there. I don't know what happened. It's backwards. I can't believe I did that. So maybe I did. Maybe I did. Right. So it's 34. It's probably 34 million of us. Let's say it's 17 million. It's not coincidence because there were not 17 million black folks here when he was here. But he said it was 17 million, but there's probably 34 million, so half of it would be 17 million. And that's the original half is demons. This separation has to take place. It's my mission. This is about to happen. There's no weapon formed against thee shall prosper. It means because they one-dimensional. If your pressure is greater than theirs, there's nothing they can do. You got to understand that mathematically, there's nothing they can do if your pressure is, I don't care what kind of weapons they have, whatever. That said, no weapon formed against you prosper. It didn't say you have to come with a better weapon. No weapon. The only thing is, he's coming with super technology to tell you, because we go in the spring, because we're going to have super technological reality. They didn't have technology until the last 100 years. Why? For 6,000 years, they had no technology. Until now, because we go into the spring, we're going to have super technology. The spring is technology coming from us. So if you can't, and the angel is just trying to get you ready, the mindset to deal with super technology, because that's from us. Because Master Muhammad has a super that they can't touch. But I tell you, they don't listen. See? Because if you can't handle this, you ain't gonna definitely be able to handle that. So if you can't get through the angel, because you the books that come after the angel, they're gonna make angel look like a Sally ran up the hill and met Jimmy or whatever that stuff is, right? They just don't get it. But heart's failing because once you start realizing this is not just devils, this is Shia. I mean, not just devils, but it's also Levites. Because you didn't pay attention, it's going to catch you off guard, and you could be having heart attacks. The shock of the hour, the grievous thing. I'm going to leave it there, brother, sis, but this here is your gem, your protection. You apply this, the way you apply it, that's your protection from the Holocaust. I mean, from the tribulation. And tribulation is actually your doing, right? Because you don't pay attention to things. It says, a nation be born in the day, also Babylon is destroyed in the day at the same time. You don't pay attention to these things. So, because Babylon was born and destroyed in the day, I mean, it was so terrible. Because all that hell came, all the shit they've been doing for the last 5 years, like a damned up, hit them all of a sudden in one day. So your preparation, because you had all this time to prepare for 40-some years, or more than that, actually, you had 40-some years of life that you rejected. You had time with Master Muhammad, then you had 35 years with me. You didn't prepare, so now you'll be born in one day. If you had stuck with lies, you kept doing that, you wouldn't have to go to tribulation. There would be no tribulation. You causing the tribulation. I keep telling Levites that, and they don't listen. They don't listen to me at all. The only thing you can talk all you want. I say I don't understand English. I understand actionless. So I'm not listening to what you're saying. I'm listening to what you're doing. When you show me a verse that you start breaking these verses down. It's like I said, I haven't broke every verse down in the Bible. I'm doing it now. I'm more focused now because I said I had to get this message out. But now I spend more time doing that. So there's plenty of information to work with. But if you're not doing anything because you're not putting effort in, and that's on you. You're not going to lose any sleep over it. The people you're going to be worrying about in the hereafter is people that make it to the hereafter. If you don't make it, you're going to be forgotten. No, you won't even be forgotten. You won't even be remembered. Put that away. See, because you forget something, that means you got to know about it, forget it, right? If you don't remember it, it's like you never existed. So I put that away. You won't even be remembered. Because we said we won't be forgotten, right? Then we got to remember, no, you never existed. It's the way it is. Okay, I'm gonna let it go, brothers and sisters here. I have one more thing, I think. Let me see. I keep saying it, but know it's going to be soon. Maybe my last presentation, brothers and sisters, but we're getting there. We'll see how the next few days. I'm wiped out myself, I tell you. You're 100%, brothers and sisters. No. I think it's age. Kind of got too much. I'm keeping up with it, but like I said, I remember there's was time hour a day. It's just a run. It was 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day. Now it's 4 hours, almost 5 hours, 5 hours a day at the gym now. Just keep myself the level I was before. Studying harder, more. Get more. Just keep the level. That's to do with age. We're still wilting into energy deprivation. So at some point, put so much information out there already, but I don't think there's anything I can tell the Levites. I haven't told them already. They have moved what already been moved to move what they have. So I don't think anything I can tell is gonna make them move. So they have to wait till the fire comes. Remember, that's what Moses did. Moses was the one that fired. God says, "Hey, I'm getting rid of him. I just make a new nation, make a nation out of you, Moses." Okay, but says I'm gonna leave it there. Assalamu alaikum.
We have a lot of that going on, but we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody. These are these people. You can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work. And they've tried. We've tried. Everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it?
Well, you heard that. Donald Trump is a believer in eugenics. He believes that white people are the superior race. And inner city is code for black people. And he believes black people cannot now work on the farms. I guess they're not good enough for that. So Hispanic people can do it because they have the backs for it. This is what this man is saying out loud in interviews. He is a racist. It's been proven time and time again. The man had Mein Kampf on his bedside table that he would read at night. Enough to let you know where he stands on that. Just more outrageous, racist things from Donald Trump. They want to arrest those who can do the farm work well until their backs give out. And then he'll probably ship them to El Salvador or some other country. Just more vile statements from the president and let you know where he stands.
When they were arresting people for praying outside of abortion clinics. I mean, I do think the UK, and I say this as, someone who is half English, I think it's like reached, or it is quickly reaching a point where democratic reforms are going to be pretty tough because of the demographic change. And that, of course, the point of importing all these people is to overwhelm the people who live there who disapprove of the program. So you don't have to care what they think because you just bring in new people and their will becomes like all that matters. And so I don't think you're going to fix these things through elections at some point, probably pretty soon. And I just worry a place like the UK, Canada is another, a bunch of different countries in the West are at the point where they're literally revolutionary. They are poised for revolution. And as someone who really doesn't support revolution and hates violence and hates civil war above all, I'm worried about that. I mean, I don't see how this is fixed. Starmer, who's, you know, he's just an instrument of larger forces, but he's a poisonous character, obviously, who's really hurt your country. He's in there for, 4 more years? And so you wonder, people are going to start to get really radical in a scary way. I think this is going to happen. And the people in charge don't seem to care.
Well, you're already seeing it. You are seeing the anger beginning to manifest itself, and I completely understand the anger. I don't like you. I abhor any form of violence, but I do understand the anger when you have, Keir Starmer campaigned, I'm going to smash the gangs that allow these little boats to come over the channel, delivering tens of thousands of people illegally into the country, and they then get put into these so-called asylum hotels where they're given a pretty good lifestyle, certainly a far better lifestyle than many people really struggling at the moment in the UK. And of course, far from smashing the gangs, it turned out yesterday that he's smashing new records for the number of people coming in illegally on the boats. Of course. It's out of control. And the British public are reaching a point and saying, we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly?
Public are reaching a point and saying, we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly? You'd really have to force a lot of people to go back to their countries of origin, millions of people, and you need to do it really soon. And are they actually willing to do that? I don't know, but these are existential questions that we have been browbeat into ignoring for decades. But the question is is Ireland Ireland? If it's majority non-Irish, oh, shut up, they're Irish. No, they're actually not Irish. Same with the UK, same with England, Scotland, Wales. It's all changing so fast. Nothing like this has ever happened in all of history, except when, say, the Mongols swept across the steppe and raped everybody. That was true demographic change on this scale. But even that wasn't as profound as what we're seeing in every white country around the world. I would say the West, but Australia and New Zealand also. So, what is that? Now, my brain is not big enough to understand what that is. I have a lot of theories about it, but I don't know if they're true. All I know is what the numbers are, and that's real, and no one feels that he can say it. Everyone's like, oh, well, if that were happening in China or India or Malaysia or Senegal, it doesn't matter. You'd be like, what the hell is that? The population's totally different. Look at graduation. Pick, King's College Law School, and look at the graduation picture for the last 30 years. Who's in it? Just let your eyes tell you the truth for once. This is a total change in population. Is it better? Is it worse? Can't have that conversation. Who's pushing this? Does the population want it? The population clearly doesn't want it. There's no polling that's meaningful on the subject. There's no referendum on it. You don't get to decide. You've got no voice in it, other than you get to go to jail if you complain loudly enough about it. What is this? I think it's the biggest and darkest thing that has happened in the last 1,000 years, for sure. And I think it's leading somewhere really, really bad. It's not happening by accident. That's obvious because it's only happening in white countries.
I mean, I think that...
Oh, shut up, white supremacist. Well, in fact, I'm not a white supremacist.
Well,
I'm just noticing what the hell's going on.
I think most people I've spoken to about this in the UK, most people have always viewed the UK to be a very tolerant, multicultural, cosmopolitan place to live. That's why so many people want to come here. And people have no problem with that. And it's been very successful for a long period of time.
But it's multicultural? What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country, is Sharia law... What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country, is Sharia law every bit as valid as English common?
No, people don't want Sharia law here. No.
A lot of people do. Wait, hold on. I don't know what you mean. Multiculturalism itself is a lie designed to subvert a society. No, a society has a culture. You can argue about what it is or ought to be. It's not necessarily the same as race. It's connected to race, but it's not the same. People from different races can buy into your culture. That was kind of the beauty of the West. But a multicultural society is not sustainable. There's never been
your
such a
society
thing.
Is
one
about
culture will dominate.
Hang on, Tucker. Surely the United States of America, given the very way it was created, is the epitome of a multicultural society. And my point I was going to make to you was...
It's absolutely not. No. It's a multiracial society.
Yeah.
Though it was not actually a multiracial society up until pretty recent. It's just like 90% white for most of its existence, but whatever. But you did have different peoples, you had different religions. That was all totally fine, but there was one culture, as American culture. There's no such thing as a multicultural society. It's not sustainable. One culture will overwhelm the other. Again, it's not the same as race. It's not identical to race. It's connected, but it's not the same. But multiculturalism is by definition insane. No, it's never happened. It never will happen. One culture will predominate. It will impose its values on everybody else. I mean, the gay thing, which was not a thing 40 years ago, gay was a slur, all of a sudden becomes multicultural there. There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but the's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 26, 27 amendments? Right. So your own values, as determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing times.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes.
Once you start rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's
determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing times.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So those values can evolve.
There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 26, 27 amendments? Right. So your own values, as determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing times.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes
Once you
with
start
it.
rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's multicultural, we can all live and like have radically different values, that's just not true. It's never been true. It never will be true. So you're having one culture, one worldview predominate over another and dominate and suppress all dissent. Like that's just what it is, dude. Let's be honest.
I would point to the United States of America and the United Kingdom as two shining examples, albeit not completely without their flaws, but shining examples of places that are deemed by the rest of certainly feel that about my country.
Well, I certainly think that inherent in Christianity is the notion of tolerance, and that draws from a core Christian concept, which is free will. You cannot force someone to convert. There's never been conversion by the sword in Christianity. People decide to believe in it. And so that is central to the religion, therefore it's been central to the society. Western civilization is Christian civilization. And so we call that tolerance. It's a respect for your inherent God-given right to make a choice about what you believe. Okay, so of course, that's always been a feature. My only point is, a society has a commonly agreed upon set of beliefs, rules, and laws that are the definition of the society itself. That's what a society is. So you can't have competing. You can't have, gay world and Sharia world living co-equally in a society. That does not happen. It will never happen. You have to pick one. Are we the Sharia society? Are we the party time gay rights society? Like, which one? And you can't face that reality. So you're just sort of snoozing along until the inevitable point where you're going to wake up and be like, my values have no bearing on what our society is anymore, because we've been invaded by other people with a totally different worldview, and they're now in charge. And that day is coming very soon for your country, and maybe it'll improve it. I don't think the UK could be a lot worse than it already is. It's this kind of disgusting, sad, self-hating, suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English person, but that day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architect. That's a choice that we're all going to face. Suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English. That day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architects of mass migration. Sorry.
I would question your characterization as my country as a sad, disgusting, what's the rest of it, suicidal nation. I feel none of those things. I feel very happy to be in the United Kingdom, and I feel that there are lots of very happy.
Our system, the Western system, which is very distinct from the Eastern system, very distinct, and it's distinct on this one precise point, we believe and have always believed since this country was founded, since your country became, not a pure monarchy, but even when it was a pure monarchy, the belief in the West, because of Christianity, was the worst thing you can do is punish the innocent. That's the worst thing you can do. That's worse than not punishing the guilty. And we often said that to each other. We no longer say that because there is a pretty concerted effort to blur the meaning of these terms. But I'm not going to be deterred from defining words precisely. Terror is murdering people, killing people, punishing people who committed no crime. Period.
So when the Israeli government says it has repeatedly that even though over 20,000 completely innocent children are believed to have died in their response to what Hamas did on October the 7th at the hands of the IDF, there are many on the pro-Palestinian side who say that Israel is behaving like terrorists too in the way that they have gone about conducting this war. Would you go as far as to say that?
One of the things that I really object to now is this relentless focus on Israel, which, by the way, is a foreign country that I have nothing to do with.
We've done this before. Now, maybe today things are different, and we will end up living in a nation that is sharply divided and may ultimately produce something else. But I'm an American. I love my country. I want to see it stay together. I'm interested in social cohesion, which means that I think our laws, customs, and culture have to be dominant. We can accept some diversity on the edges, but not fundamental division. I think we're in a state of fundamental division. So when I bring up Sharia law, I've sat in many discussions with many people that said, well, I don't care what people look like, but I do care about Sharia law, and I don't want that practiced anywhere near my family or in my country. And that's something you should be aware of. So the notion that someone can come here and say, well, that's part of my religion and we're going to abide by Sharia law, they're going to find serious resistance and opposition in the country.
And as I clarified,
it's because it matters. It's this thing we call societal cohesion. Nations do not exist on their own. They have a core population. Our core population from the very beginning was always at least 80% European and Christian and about 15 to 20% African. But when you start bringing in huge numbers, millions, who are fundamentally different from the core population, you are going to get violence, anger, and conflict. How many times have you heard people say, if you bring people in from the developing world, what do you get? The developing world. And now we've got that. You can't bring in hundreds of thousands of people from Somalia, plant them, of all places, in Minnesota, and then be shocked that, no, they're not Americans. They're not really interested in being Americans. They're foreigners living on American soil. Nobody wants to say that publicly. If you do, oh, well, you're a racist. Well, you know, the world is full of racists. The real war that's going to decide our fate is not going to be fought anywhere overseas. It's going to be fought right here inside the United States. Are we going to survive as a republic, as an English-speaking republic that rests on the foundations of Western civilization? Or are we going to become something else?
One point that is
Constitution was completed in 1789. I think we had 5 million people living in the 13 British colonies. We were 90% white, that is excluding the Africans that were in the country who had been brought here as slaves. But we were 90% white. We were 90% Protestant. And this may be hard for you to believe, but the people that wrote that were trying to protect all of the Protestant sects from a state church on the model of the Church of England and the Roman Catholic Church. That's one of the reasons it was almost 100 years or more after that before people began to finally accept Catholicism as a religion, because it was viewed as political power. My point to you is the Constitution is outdated. The way we are governed is outdated. It has to be re-examined. Nobody in 1789 imagined that anybody would come to the United States except another lunatic, religious fanatical Protestant who hated the Church of England. That's what people feared. That's what they thought of. The Constitution that we have does many good things, but I would argue that the Bill of Rights is ultimately more important. The Bill of Rights is vital and essential, and that needs to be defended. But the Constitution and the way we govern and the things that we're doing, it's out of date. It doesn't fit our needs. And that's back to my comment on something given has no value. You have to earn it. And we haven't made anybody earn their place in this country. I'm talking about people like me that have been here forever. My first ancestor stepped off the boat in 1681. So we've got to get back to some notion of national service, because national service promotes national integration. It addresses some of these problems that you're discussing. Now, I know that you may not want to conform and may not want to be as I am, but I'm an American and nobody questions that. Nobody ever will. If you don't want to stand out and be questioned, then I suggest that you change your appearance, because I don't think it's life or death for you to wear what you wear.
I think this conversation,
it's not fine, because it's leading to violence. that could have otherwise been avoided. You see, every great nation, every large nation can always accept some number of people into its ranks that are different from them. It's always been the case. But if you suddenly import millions, which is what's happened here and happened in Europe, then you threaten the core gene pool. What I'm trying to tell you is there's a problem. And we can all pretend that there isn't, and you can insist there isn't, but that's the view. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us to address it truthfully and openly. Stop pretending it's not a problem. It's a problem.
I mean, what's also a problem is white supremacy, and that's
No, because you're saying you're different, you're going to remain different, and you don't think that if that's not compatible with being an American, then the hell with it. That's what you're going to do.
Well, then what do you make then of, white American people who convert, let's say, to Islam and choose to cover? Are they not American anymore?
Listen, if they want to do that, that's obviously their business. I don't know how many are out there that do that. I think again, it's ill-advised. I think you have to hold the society together. There has to be an agreement on certain things, customs, culture, way of life. And unfortunately, if you're going to practice rigidly a brand of Islam that demands certain things, and this is why I asked right off the bat, do you support Sharia law?
I'm a Muslim. What being a Muslim means is I follow the guidelines of my religion, which is a peaceful.
Does your religion dictate to you Sharia law?
My religion dictates to me to be a good human being, to be good to my neighbors, to
that the most powerful force in today's Republican Party is represented by what Charlie Kirk said. It is this drive to make America a white Christian nation. I got to tell you, this is what they say privately. This is now what they say publicly. This is what Charlie Kirk said publicly.
And Joe, again, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because you know these people very, very well. Yeah. You said it yourself. You were one of the strongest voices. You were one of the folks who understood the incendiary language when you were in Congress, when you had your radio show, and how people loved when you did it. And then when you chose to apologize for that and turn away from it, oh my God, they literally have just tried to destroy you because of that.
Yeah, again, you know the deal, Roland, right? I came out publicly against Trump 7 years. For 7 years, I put up with death threats on a regular basis. Nobody is welcome in that party unless you bow down to what this force is, this MAGA force. And again, look, there have been some people on the left who've celebrated Charlie Kirk's murder. Shame on them, be better people. But this is much worse, Roland, what my former friends are doing on the right, because they are turning this into a holy war. When you say we declare war on the left because of what some 22-year-old young guy did in Utah, and then you declare war on the whole left, that's a lot worse than celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder, because that's dishonest, but that's also inciting hate and violence. And Roland, look, Trump's an idiot. So yeah, Trump says the left, the problem in the country is the left. J.D. Vance is not an idiot. What did J.D. Vance say today, right? He was subbing for Charlie Kirk on his radio show, and he spent the entire show going after the left, going after them, they, them. Man, Democrats need to wake up, Roland. This is a really serious deal by my former colleagues. The stuff that I hear privately from them right now, Roland, for the last 5 days, I mean, they want to go to war. This is a holy war.
Oh, it absolutely is. And what really jumps out at me on this very thing here, Joe, and I've been saying this, I played the speech 2 weeks ago that mainstream media just ignored of Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt, who gave a speech at NatCon, Peter Thiel's group, where he literally gave a white nationalist speech where he said our ancestors fought for this country to be ours and no one else. He was talking about white people. He was basically saying if you are black, Latino, Asian American, or even Native American, America is not for you. And folks just ignored it. And so people need to understand, again, what they're saying, why they're saying it. And yes, there are many evangelicals, any very conservative white Christians who are pushing this as well. And you nailed it. They want a holy war. They want a race war. They want this to be a white country. It is clear as day.
And Roland, really important point. Charlie Kirk at only 31, the impact he had because he was one of the most successful pushers of this white Christian nationalistic idea. And so I think that's why all of his defenders are out there so strenuously denying he said anything divisive, because they know if you really go through Charlie Kirk's public record, everything he said about people of color and black women and Muslims and gays and transgenders, if people took the time to go through all of that, and that was put out for average people to see, they'd be blown away by it. That's why his defenders are like supercharged right now. They don't want that record to be seen.
Today, you mentioned, and I mentioned as well, Vice President J.D. Vance sitting in to do his show. And listen to this man just blatantly lie, Joe. Play it.
I read a story in The Nation magazine about my dear friend, Charlie Kirk. Now, The Nation isn't a fringe blog. It's a well-funded, well-respected magazine whose publishing history goes back to the American Civil War. George Soros's Open Society Foundation funds this magazine, as does the Ford Foundation and many other wealthy titans of the American progressive movement. The writer accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote, "Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously." But if you go and watch the clip, the very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words. He made an argument against affirmative action as a policy. He criticized a specific Supreme Court justice as an individual. He never said anything about black women as a group. He made an argument for judging people of all races and backgrounds by their own individual merits.
Bullshit.
Okay, Joe, this is actually what he said.
No, Roland, that's utter bullshit.
In fact, you know, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color.
All right, Joe, he literally said it. Not only that, Vance lied. Soros does not fund the nation. So he sat there and flat out lied.
And Roland, remind me, What's J.D. Vance's job? He's the vice president, and yet he had time today to do a radio show for a former right-wing podcaster. I mean, look what they're not even rolling. They're not even subtle about it. What this White House is doing. They believe, man, the path to victory is fear, hate, and division. And that's what they're putting out there. That was Charlie Kirk literally going after 4 accomplished black women by saying they didn't have the brain power to get where they got. This is what he believed. And this is what MAGA believes. And that, again, Roland, broken record, that's why Charlie Kirk was so damn successful. Why he had such a big audience.
Yeah, and not only that, you take Nick Fuentes, who's to the right of Charlie Kirk. The night of or the day after Kirk was shot and killed, Fuentes had 200,000 people watching him live. And so what you have this fervor. And so when I listen to Trump and Vance and all these people talk about, how the left, they're indoctrinating. No, and you know this very well, the indoctrination. We've had people who formerly are with Turning Point USA put out videos talking about how it was really this cult-like figure, this messianic figure, as they sort of set Kirk up as, and how they want them to follow that. And so that's what's going on here. These people are not trying to have open dialogue. And not only that, Joe, you take Trump, okay? Trump was very clear in saying he was not going to call Governor Tim Walz after those 4 folks were shot in Minnesota. 2 were killed, including former Speaker of the House and her husband. Now today he's saying, he never even heard of Melissa Hortman, and if the governor had asked him, he would have, of course, lowered the flags to have staff. I'm sorry, he's also lying. He knew about her. He knew about the shooting, but he was so arrogant that he said, 2 Democrats, a Democrat Speaker of the House shot and killed. Yeah, I don't care, but lower the flags to have staff with Charlie Kirk. Flies body on Air Force 2. Do a memorial service at the Kennedy Center. Do another one at the Arizona Cardinals Stadium. Give him the Medal of Freedom. And I'm telling you, they're going to give him a state funeral. That's what you're seeing right now. And then you got Peter Hegseth going after members of the military who said anything negative in the aftermath of his death. You've got Kirk supporters creating a database of people of every social media post, and then even Vance saying in the podcast, you call their employer. So the so-called free speech people all of a sudden are saying, if you say anything negative about Charlie Kirk after what took place last week, we're going to come after you, come after your job. I thought they hated cancel culture, Joe.
Yeah. Roland, I remember back in my right-wing radio days, I would come on every day, and there was always some story about some leftist group on a college campus that couldn't handle speech that made them uncomfortable
to say.
Roland, this is scary, and you and I are old enough, man, to remember huge figures in American history who were gunned down, struck down, military leaders, civil rights leaders. We are treating this 31-year-old podcaster, MAGA influencer, like he's Jesus Christ. So I come from the right. Why are my old colleagues and friends on the right doing this, Roland? Because the right wants a religious war. Let's just call it. They want a civil war. They want a holy war. That's why they're putting him up to be some Jesus-like martyr.
Absolutely. I mean, Glenn Beck literally came out and said he was a civil rights leader. Oh, my God, stop it. Stop it. I've seen people say, I've seen a lot of these videos, I'm leaving my church because my pastor did not mention him. This was a Christian warrior. And let's just be clear. You said it, white Christian nationalists. It's slaveholder religion. We heard a lot of this stuff during slavery, during Jim Crow, things along those lines. And this whole idea about, oh no, it was about debate. It was about, exchange of ideas. I mean, come on, let's just stop it. And so we see what's going on here. We see the games that are being played. And then what gets me, Joe, is this whole deal of, oh my God, the left, how they indoctrinated him and the accused killer going to a university. The dude was at a university for one semester, Joe. You're trying to tell me that one semester at a mostly white institution in Mormon, Utah, which is not a liberal bastion, somehow just radicalized him? I mean, it really is showing folks the hand they're trying to play.
Yeah, and I think even on top of that, Roland, I think it was like some technical school. So it wasn't some crazy liberal arts school for a semester. Look, cut through all the BS. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, has publicly said that America should be a white Christian country. This is what animates my former party. Roland, you know me, right? Tea Party Hellraiser. I don't come from the left. I left the Republican Party when the Republican Party became MAGA. And my fellow Democrats and folks on the left need to understand, now these people are on the right. Now this is MAGA. MAGA now are the snowflakes. MAGA, Roland, they now need their safe spaces. It's funny, but it's not funny. And you're right about J.D. Vance, man. He just flat out lied. I mean, the last 30-year history of political violence in this country, the vast majority of it is right-wing. It always has been. And they put out this lie that it's only on the left. It's not even, Roland, a both sides problem between the left and the right. There is political violence on the left, but the vast majority is on the right, and they know that, and they're lying because they're trying to inflame their base. And Roland, I hear from their base every day, and let me tell you something, they are inflamed. I mean, they are ready to march and grab their you-know-what. This is a scary time.
It is, and folks need to understand what is certainly at stake. Joe Walsh, I appreciate you joining us on the show.
History of the cross, known by their works. What's the history of the cross? 500-year history of the cross. Murder, rape, destruction, deception, enslavement, burning, terrorizing. To maintain a slavery system, you must terrorize the people 24/7. They terrorize people from Africa and America for 400 years. Constant terror, 24/7. Rape, murder. In the name of Jesus. This was Christians not Buddhists, not Hindus, Christians. Christians, in the name of Jesus, when they said Jesus cursed black people, they call them Ham, cursed them to be slaves and persecuted forever. In the name of Jesus, raped our women incessantly, pissed in our mouths, made us eat shit. And they took and tried to clean up, not clean it up, but make it look more fashionable, I guess, by calling it chitlins. That's after slavery, of course, after so-called slavery. Because what was endured was not slavery. Look up slavery. Look up slavery. It does include murder, rape, terror. This is a Holocaust. And then now they try to downplay it. Oh, that was 40 years ago. No, it wasn't 40 years ago. I don't care if it was a million years ago. It was 40 years ago. It lasts for 400 years. As they're doing today. They took everything away from the slaves. Everything. Their name, their culture, their families, their religion, their minds, everything. Fed their children to alligators as alligator bait. And then they talk about what's going on in Gaza when they did 1,000 times worse. What's going over in Gaza now is simply just a miniature version of what they did. What they did was far worse than what's going on in Gaza. Gaza's bad. It's genocide. What they did was far worse and much longer. That's the legacy of Christianity. Murder, rape, disease. They wiped out the native population with genocide and disease. Smallpox blankets, knowing they was full with disease. Herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea from sleep with animals. So-called common cold was not common. Didn't exist here on this side of the world until they brought it here. Murder, rape. When they was raping our women, there was a cross hanging from their neck. And again, they taught blacks that this was God's will. God's will. Enslavement of our people. And they continue on even today. That's the legacy of Christianity, the cross. So where's your rap sheet? Every time they arrest one of our people, your rap sheet. What's your rap sheet? How are you going to judge people for murder when you're guilty of murder beyond imagination for hundreds of years? Hundreds of years. Theft. You stole this land and murdered its people. And you crushed the native people here. When the braves would go out hunting, you would come into the camps like cowards and kill the women and smash the children's brains out on the hooves of your horses. This is the legacy of Christianity. That's the legacy of it. The question is, if instead of Columbus coming here, Dracula came here, Beelzebub, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Satan, and they all came instead of Columbus. What could they have done that Columbus and those that followed him did? Satan is the God of this world. That's the God they're serving. They have known him by their works. What are the works of Christianity? What are the works of Christianity? Where's the works of Christianity? evil, deception, mischief, bloodshedding. It goes on today. And what's going on in Gaza, just reflection and microcosm of what was done here in America for hundreds of years. Raped out women incessantly. They would even rape while they was out in the fields picking cotton. They would jump off their horse and tell them to bend over and rape them. And tell them to keep picking cotton while they was doing it. This is the kind of stuff that they would do. Make one slave defecate and slave and slave in the mouth of another slave, and then bound it up so they couldn't spit it out for 7 days. That's a legacy of slavery. You did it all in the name of Jesus. That's a legacy of slavery. Legacy of slavery. 40 years plus. Legacy of Christianity. Legacy of the cross. That's the legacy. That's the true legacy. So whose works are those? Who are you serving? Who are you serving? The legacy of the cross. Where's your rap sheet, America? Gog? Where's your rap sheet, Magog? Britain? Where's your mateship? Where's your rap sheet? Antichrist, false Israel? Where's your rap sheet? Then they colonized Africa. They're stealing from ripping off everyone. It's the legacy of Christianity. It's been ruling for over 500 years. And now, the threat of nuclear war to finish off everything. That's a legacy of Christianity in the name of your Jesus.
Surely you ain't talking about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their way. Come out of their pagan holiday where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some feast of her. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. What the heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
Back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And this ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the whole rhythm, crying, wanting to return. With their hands stretched out towards that ship and tied in chains themselves bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and these strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You and I, turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed say. And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their arms 400 years ago. How would they or you like to see them rise up in the judgment, condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you were free. Remember that.
ain't talking about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. The heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
Back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And this ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it, disappearing in their own rhythm, crying, wanting to return. With their hands stretched out towards that ship and tied in chains themselves bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You are now turning your face from your own-native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel? Acting such. And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why is it that you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment, condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man said you were free. Remember that.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulman Rahim here, Veteran of Covenant. Okay, brothers, this has been a year now, and we're finally home after 40 years in Arabia. I'm reporting to you from Arabia. Finally home after 40 years. Right? And so we've been here a year now. And there was an agreement made. A former slave master, he said, we had a choice. Stay here or leave. Right? So we chose our inheritance, Arabia. So we left. And half the original people decided they wanted to give up their inheritance and traded for a place in America in reconciliation with their former slave master. That's their choice. They chose, said, we don't want to go over to Arabia. We don't go to where it's sand and all that stuff. We want to stay here in America. We've been here all our lives, been here 40 years, born here, right? And we can make peace with our slave master. Okay, so they decided to stay. And so after a year, right, we're getting reports of how things are going over there. And it doesn't sound too good. How things are going over in America with their reparations. Because they was given, they got 6 states, I believe. Yeah, see? Yeah. Yeah, they got those 6 states right there. That's what Farrakhan told them. They was listening to Farrakhan. Farrakhan promised them, they stay there, 6 states, right? Had their own land. And they can make reconciliation with the former slave master. They're not devils. They're not devils. They're human beings. They just had a rough, they were just, did some things wrong, but now they're gonna make amends and make reparations. So 6 states, and in addition to that, they gave everybody $1 million. Everybody stayed $1 million. They said, "Thank you, Farrakhan." They're so happy. Thank you, Farrakhan. Thank you, Farrakhan. Man, you got 6 states. That's what you promised us. We got 6 states. They're thanking you. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? And this was a year ago. They got the 6 states. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? Everybody got $1 million. Everybody $1 million. And they're rejoicing. Oh man, they're so happy. Hey, we came here. We made it. We got America, man. We got reconciliation for a master. We got 6 states. Everybody got $1 million. We're all rich. That was a year ago when we left. So we're in Arabia. They're still back there in America. And now we're getting reports a year later. This was the way it was a year ago, man. They were so happy. They were so happy. Right? And now we get reports of what's going on right now. Let's see. Oops, it says a power failure. Great power failure in those 6 states. Power failure. And it's just those 6 states. Right? So, and now they had a big and massive, they came asking to turn the power. Well, why can't they do it? Oh, Farrakhan didn't train anybody. He was telling you about 6 states, he never prepared you for them. So nobody knows how to do it. How to turn the power grid back on. So now he's begging, man, master, can you come and turn this thing back on for us? I mean, you would think that if he told them 6 states to promise him that he would have prepared them for it, right? Their schools and education or whatever they needed for that. But I guess they didn't, because they say over there now he's begging this former master to come and turn the power back on. And And then what? I mean, this is all that's happening now. I mean, I'm getting these imports in now. A year later, it's like they're coming in every hour. Power grid failure, right? And I said, oops, crop failure. All of a sudden, there's no. They looked at the farmers when they done the farmers said, oh. So then, master, what's happening here? How come you know? Right? Our crop. They found that the land they gave them wasn't that fertile. A year later, nothing's growing. Crop failure. And now they Master, what's happening here? Right? And then, I mean, all these things, every hour back's coming in, right? And then they look, and they had, a year ago, they had plenty of food on the shelves, right? And now, they look there now, and all the food's gone. It's gone. And she said, what am I going to do here? Food's gone. The house is empty. So he said, Master, we need some food. Well, how come you can't produce your own food? I mean, you want your own country. You got your own states. That's your country. Then you run it. What are you calling us for? Right? So they'll be praying. And then, oops, no fuel. There's Master, no fuel there. Well, you got to buy your fuel. You got to produce your own fuel. What you calling us for? You got your own 6 states now. What you calling us for? Go and get some fuel. You got money, right? You got your own states. So you got to get your own. What you calling us for? You said you wanted your own, so now you got it. And you got your reparations, so we don't owe you anything anymore. We don't owe you anything anymore, so what you calling us for? We don't owe you anything. You said you agreed to 6 states and $1 million per person. You took that instead of your inheritance, what you call the Abrahamic covenant, Arabia. Your brothers and sisters, they left. They took that was offered to them. They took it, and you said no. I want this instead. So now you got it. So what you calling us for? Oh, no communications. Oh man. No communications, right? No medical facilities. So what's going on, Master? Wait a minute, hold on. What you calling us for? That's yours. You got to handle that stuff. You want us to handle it for you? You want independence, now you have it. I mean, wow, this stuff was coming every hour, man. Instead of like a year, they was celebrating. And now they crying and begging the Master, okay, look at all these problems here. I said, wait a minute, that's yours. Where you come about your problems? You have to work those out. Right? No transportation, I mean, no planes, no nowhere. We don't know about fly the planes and drive the trucks and the boats and stuff and to go and get this stuff. Well, what you done this for? You wanted this, you got it. So go ahead and get to train your own pilots, build your own planes, build your own boats and right? You see what I'm saying? Transportation, build your own trucks. What you calling for? Yeah, Master, we see this. You said you wanted 6 states, you got it. You want $1 million per person. That was the reparations. So then if you didn't pay people to take care of this, how's that our problem? You're independent now. You're really free now. Oops, no fuel. The gas station's empty. I can't drive, eh? And no gas. Man, wow. All this stuff happened like for a year. They thought that everything was great, and all of a sudden everything ran out. So I guess what happened? Everything was there when they got it, and then it ran out. They had to replace the fuel, to get the farms going. So they was left with that stuff. The factory was full. I mean, warehouses full. Then you had to keep. They thought that was just going. I guess they thought it was just going to be there, just by itself. They didn't prepare for it. See, and they ain't trained any engineers and scientists and architects and stuff. They ain't business. They didn't train anybody. So Farrakhan. He told you he's going to get this for you, but he didn't prepare you for it. He didn't get anybody to handle this stuff. So what was that all about? So now he asked the master, said, hey, don't call on me. You was here, you had it when you was here with me. You said you want independence, you wanted reparations, so you gave it to you. Well, call on your brothers over there. They left, they handled their own business. You said you want to stay here, right? Have any professionals or technicians, scientists, doctors, none of that. See, I mean, that's what, because I mean, if you're going to set reparation, you should be preparing for that, right? So if he was telling you about reparation, you should be preparing for it. If he said, God said that's where he's going to get you, so if God told him he's going to get that for you, then he should, like when God told Noah there was a flood coming, to only build an ark, so he started building an ark. And so you should start preparing for the 6 states and the reparations, but apparently you didn't. And so now, it does say, look, hold it. We want total separation. Look, we don't want you to call us no more. We don't want you to call us no more. Because you're wearing us. You want your own country. You got your own land. Right? You got money, $1,000,000, all this stuff, right? And so now we got to protect your money and everything too? No, you have to really create your own money. You have to do all these things, your own wealth, not ours. Right? So we're going to cut you off from that too. That's all economics. So they go and tell it. They tell all the people and all the white folks, right? Because all the black folks, now all the black folks is either in Arabia or in those 6 states. That's the solution. You had to be one way or the other. There couldn't be no integration, that kind of stuff. That's the deal. You just said one or the other. So all the black folks are there. Ain't no integration, that kind of stuff, right? Black folks are there, one or the other. So they're there. So he said, okay, right? So they just say, we're going to take our money because we don't know what y'all doing over there. You have your own money, you have your own wealth. So what they do is they tell all the white folks, say, protect your money, right? Transfer your money into gold. Transfer all your dollars into gold. Right? Now remember, they gave everybody $1 million apiece. So everybody got $1 million apiece, right? And so they transfer it to gold. And then what happens is that what they do is they start just printing money. White folks just start printing money. You understand what that means? That's inflation. Right? Because if you got $1 million of gold, a million ounces of gold, say a million ounces of gold, understand this, and you got 1 million certificates, then you say each certificate is worth 1 ounce. If you got 1 million ounces, each certificate is worth 1 ounce. Understand that? If you got 1 million ounces of gold and you got 1 million certificates, each one of those certificates is worth 1 million. If you want to say trade with the certificates, each one of the certificates is worth 1 ounce of gold. Right? But if you take and print, you say you got 1 million ounces of gold and you got 1 million certificates. Each one, but say you print twice as many certificates, you got 2 million. Well, then each certificate is only worth 50 cents now, because you got to connect that to the gold. Well, you print 4 times, then each one's worth a quarter. So the more you print, the less they worth, because those certificates has to equal what the gold is. You understand? So the more you print money, the less, right? The less they're worth. So if you print twice as much money, right, there's less gold. You understand? So $1 is worth 1 ounce of gold, which that's right. Then if you print double that amount of dollars, then each one's worth half an ounce. You understand? That's what printing money without increasing their wealth does. That's inflation. So what happens is they keep printing. They get down to where $100 is worth a penny. But see, that doesn't affect their people. They told to protect their money because they transfer their money to gold. So gold still has its value. It's just the dollars don't. It still got the same amount of gold. But the dollars, they get down to a penny. So you can't buy it. You had $1 million, now your $1 million worth of $5. That's all it's worth. $1. Hardly worth anything. Hey, that's our money. You got to have your own money. You control your own wealth. You can't keep coming to us what you're doing. And you think they wouldn't do that? Yeah, you've been a Gaza lately? You see what happened to the trees they made with the so-called natives? Kept telling me you had a forked tongue because they kept making trees with them, then they broke the trees. And took their land and genocide and everything else. But no, they wouldn't do that to you. See? Because now you have, your money's worth nothing. They haven't lost anything. Because once that money's worthless, it's no good, right? Then you bury it up, throw it away. It's worth nothing. The people still got gold, and even if they take it, hold on to money, hope to increase again, they just use another different certificate, use another form of money. So it's still worth nothing. That $1 million you had, you was so happy with it, now it's probably worth maybe $1. Can't buy anything $1. Plus the economy's collapse because everything is failing, and you don't know how to repair it. You don't have the communications. You don't know how to do any of this stuff. You're not an engineer, build a house. You don't have to do anything because Farrakhan didn't. Right? He didn't prepare you. He told you he'll give you 6 days. He told you, listen to me, right? So now you're broke, and your economy is gone. You have no food, no electricity, no power, anything. Right? It's not their fault. They gave you what you asked for. You saw your inheritance for that. And then they closed the border. Because you want to try to get back into America now. We want to come back in, Master. No, we don't want you back in here. We sorry, we want to come in. No. That's what you chose. You stay there. They closed the border so you can't get back in here. Can you get back in America into what you call your land now? Swaziland or something? Farrakhan, maybe call it travel land. Farrakhan, they met the Farrakhan, right? So they close the borders. You can't, because now you're hungry and everything else. Your money's worthless. Oh God, come back, Master. I come back work for you. I work for Popeyes. I do anything you want. No, we don't. Remember, the blacks either they over in Arabia or they in that land. There are no blacks in America, any places, just in that land that you 6 days. And now you're starving. You ain't got your money's worthless. Nothing works, and they close the border. Right? And then you see Master, he on the phone. You talking to the guy that you kept treating, help you. Hey, we finally got rid of them niggas. Finally got rid of them. Finally got rid of them. See, stick on the phone. Yeah, it worked. We sold them no reparations. We sold them that used car. They turned the miles back and everything else, and they bought it. See, they could have had a BMW. They could have had a Lamborghini. They sold that for a BMW that looked good. Damn thing didn't work. And now they're starving. Living in tents. Praying. And so what? Then what next? What we gonna do, Farrakhan? What we gonna do, Farrakhan? You told us to take reparations, so we did. They gave us everything we asked for. What we gonna do, Farrakhan? What we gonna do? Pray, 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 pray. That's his answer. Pray Pray, pray, pray. That's your reparations. Like Elijah Muhammad said, he had a big picture. We leaving, and blacks staying on the shore, the ones stay behind, and they was whooping their ass. Right? Because they thought you think they would give you some land and take care of you? You think they want to do that? And go bankrupt, give everybody $1 million? How much that is? If it's 17 million, that was 17 million times 17 million times a million is like $17 trillion, I think, something like that there. And they're going to do all that for you. They want to get rid of you. So now they have succeeded because they closed the border. And what you going to do? You going to fight to come out? They closed the border. They got the military around there. They finally got rid of you. No more black problem, no more Negro problem anymore. One group's out of here, another group that's here. They're gone, and our hands are clean. We gave them what they wanted. Well, anything. Okay. God honors contracts. Remember, he honored the contract with Jacob. Esau sold his birthright for a bowl of soup to Jacob, it was Esau's inheritance, and God honored it. Okay, Jacob, it's yours. You're the one. And that's the deal. Because he ain't your friend. Farrakhan ain't your friend. Pray, pray, pray. That's the answer. And this homeland you was promised, you never rejected it. So now you got what you asked for. So if they gave you reparations today or tomorrow, how would that scenario not play out like that? Well, they say, okay, we got it, you got it. Tell me how the scenario wouldn't play out like that. And tell me why they wouldn't do it. They love you so much, they're going to say, okay, we're going to take care of them. I mean, why should they go out their way to take care of you when you was right here? You was working at Popeyes and then they get up on Section 8, all that stuff right here where they, because you know they're trying to get rid of that stuff right now. Trump's trying to get all that stuff right now. Because they're closing on you. You don't realize it. Anyway, that's just, that's what's happening over in America. Wow. Of course, come here. Disaster over there. And, oh, I just got a call. Oh, wait, hold on. Really? You serious? Our ambassador just got a call from I don't know what they call it Conland or something. I forgot what it's something they call it right there. That 6th day. They begged us to come and help. Can they come over here? Can we come and get them? Really? Can we come and get them and bring them? Oh no. Now he went and asked as Master Farad Muhammad, right? He said, no, hell no. We ain't going to get them. And I agree with that. Yeah, the Master said he said, let's call him, and he passed the word to Master Farad Muhammad. Master Muhammad said, send him back. Master, no, we can't come and get you. You made your choice, live with it. But die, whatever the situation is. Wow. I can't believe that. They actually, right, sent a message over. I don't know how they did. I don't have any communication with it. Somehow they got the information over to them. Said, would we please come and get them? Nope. Said, no, tell them no. And don't waste time communicating with us anymore. You got your land. You got your reparations. You got your money. You got Farrakhan as your leader. Yeah, tell him. Talk to him. Let him straighten out for you. He didn't want to sell you the idea. He was a salesman. So you on that idea of reparations. We told you. Right? Suleiman, right? He was the messenger to you, telling you, look, man, let's go home. You said no. You chose not to. Okay, brothers and sisters, that's a sad story. guess that's it. Is that it? Oh, so you're not getting more reports on. Okay, he says that was Matthew Prophet Muhammad's final decision, and I think they closed communications off from there. So, like I said, brothers and sisters, we got those guys that came in. All that came in today, man. I came in fast. After a whole year, total collapse. And they're begging it. Somebody help them. We can't do it. Maybe Master help you. We won't do it. Assalamu alaikum. Update, brothers and sisters, got another late report in that they said, well, if you want to come and get us, will we at least send them some food? They begged, said, please send them some food. Master Muhammad said, we got to send them a damn thing, nothing, zero. He said, please just send some food. No, I just got that in. He says, if you can't come and get us, please send some food. He says, no. He refused. That's the report. I just got the information from the ambassador. He said, they sent that, and he's made to me. He says, no. He said, please, just please send us some food. He said, no way. You made your choice, case closed. Okay. Just got that in, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.